The first story of the day is an update to the Joshua Fabia and Diego Sanchez saga. Last week, Diego Sanchez officially cut professional and personal ties with Fabia. Diego has yet to release an official statement himself on the situation, but Fabia wasted no time going to do an interview where he trashes Diego and throws a ton of accusations around. Speaking on Behind the Scenes with Summer Helene, Joshua Fabia claims that he has proof that Diego was the one taking advantage of him for 2 years and not the other way around. Here's what he said.
I'm trying to express how I feel about what has happened in my time of 2 years of being slandered in the UFC, working for a guy that falsely represented himself as a regular person. As I get to more information as I'm with the lawyer, and the lawyer talks to Diego and asks Diego about his education, and he starts talking about he was in special education. Holy huge red flags, man. This is not at all what anyone has perceived, and Diego is not anywhere near what anybody knows, man. And Diego has been an addict. He hadn't told anybody for the past 5 months I was his sponsor, living with him, that I had to live there because he was broke and lost all his money and strung out on kratom and alcohol and 30 other substances, that he has sexual abuse issues. No, he didn't say any of that, man. And I've been holding up all this. I've been doing everything, and everybody's coming at me.
So we have about
there. I'll put out all the proof. I got all the proof. I'll put out all the video, man.
We have about 2 minutes. Public perception is that you were taking advantage of Diego. You were taking the money that he has CTE, and you were taking advantage of someone.
Diego
that is
has
the public
clearly
perception.
been taking advantage of me for 2 years, as I have been fighting for him and putting myself on the line for him with zero benefit. I'm the one getting death threats here, like nobody else.
You are. Now hold on.
Our next story comes from Cody Garbrandt, who lost to Rob Font this past weekend. Speaking on Instagram Live, Cody gives his initial reaction to the fight in an emotional video. Here's the clip.
What's going on, everyone? Man, first and foremost, thank you for all the kind messages and the support. Rob was a better man today. I just felt like I was, fighting myself in there, battling myself, and not taking anything away from him. Congrats to him in his camp. First and foremost, thank God for keeping us both safe in there, and a lot of positive to come from this. Brush it off, and get back with my coaches and teammates, and we're still striving to be the best and be the world champion. Sometimes, there's adversity that comes along in your dreams, and makes you work harder, and makes you realize what needs to be done, and makes it that much sweeter when you're climbing up the mountain. So I appreciate all you guys, for real. Wasn't my night, but man, I enjoy this, and I'll correct my mistakes, and just really thankful. I wanted to come on here and just tell you guys how much I appreciate and love your support. It's very appreciated. I'm trying to fight my heart out for you guys, and thank you.
Our next story comes from Michael Chandler, who says that the UFC told him that he will get a top 5 opponent next. Speaking to MMA Junkie Radio, Chandler says that Justin Gaethje is a possibility for his next fight. Here's what he said.
But anyways, that's a side note. But yes, on Monday, I also heard from the UFC. They called me and just said, "Hey, man, keep your head up. You're right there. You're right there in the mix. Phenomenal fight. You almost beat the eventual world champion. Like, you're right there in the mix. You're going to get we're going to get you another top 5 guy. I got a lot of fun fights ahead of me. Take a little bit of time off. I came in hot. I've been doing nothing but working since September when I signed with the UFC. And I think, a couple months off from MMA training will be good. But I'm going to keep my cardio high, going to keep the strength and conditioning going, keep taking care of my body. I'm going to take a trip out to Vegas, do all the UFC Performance Institute testing, and get my body right, make sure everything's all set up, and we go from there. I like all the matchups in the top 5. Obviously you got Conor and Poirier tied up. Beneil Dariush just moved into number 4 or whatnot, so he just fought. So he and I just fought on the same night. Gaethje needs a dance partner, that's for sure. I don't know if he's going to want to wait as long as I need to wait, though. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm taking a little bit of time off. My health is my number 1 priority. Being a father and a husband, long-term longevity, that's my number 1 priority. It's no secret I took some damage in that fight. the fight ended, got finished. So the name Justin Gaethje has been thrown around 1,000 times. He said no numerous times. I think the good thing is, and that's actually what the UFC said too, you know, hey, now that you lost inside the UFC, maybe one of these guys will actually say yes to fight you. So we'll see how it all shakes out. There's no shortage of great matchups, great talents, great fights, great opportunities inside the lightweight division. Justin Gaethje is a name that interests me. I think it's a fight that the fans want to see, and we'll have a blast doing it. So let's go.
Our next story comes from Aljamain Sterling, who says Petr Yan is the money fight that makes sense for him next. Speaking to Fight Nation Radio, Aljamain says he wants to remove all doubt and silence Petr Yan for good. Here's what he said.
I think the rematch with myself and Petr Yan is the fight that I think is the money fight right now, because there's so much animosity and so much bad blood right there. You got a guy who got gifted, aka what Tony Ferguson said, Dana White privileges, got to fight for a world title against Jose Aldo, who was coming off of a loss, and Petr Yan, who's never beaten any single person in the top 5. I beat 3 of those guys. I get passed over and I have to fight one more. And I won after I beat the last top 5 guy. I got the chance based on everyone from process of elimination. Marlon Moraes losing to Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Moraes losing to Rob Font, and Frank Yeager having a tight fight with Pedro Munoz. I ended up being the last man standing. So it worked out for me, but I actually did some work in this division. Petr Yan hasn't. And I was calling him the paper champ. Ironically, now we're both in this limbo. So I think people want some clarification on who's who. And I think that's what we got to do. We got to figure that out come November. Technically, I am the champ. If I had it my way, I would be moving on to somebody else. But this is a fight where there's a lot of unfinished business. So I want to do this one the right way. And like, I want to remove all doubt and really shut this clown up and just remind him, like, show him like there are levels, man. And if that was my worst day and that was the best you could do, I love my chances in a rematch when I'm actually feeling good and really on, and I can keep that pace from bell to bell. And he's not gonna know what hit him, and he's not gonna know where I am to even find me to even land a counter shot, you know? So I do think about the paydays, but honestly, I gotta get through this one first and then go from there and keep collecting rubies on this bad boy. And remind the world that, you know, I didn't get here by accident. I didn't get a Dana White privilege. I had to jump through the fire, jump through all the obstacle hoops that Dana White had me jump through. I had to avoid landmine grenades to not get blown up in order to get back, not even get back, but get to this position. Because for some reason, I just wasn't the guy that they wanted to fight for a world title for whatever reason. I don't know if they thought I was going to be like against them or something. I really have no idea. I think I have a very fun style, and I like to build the fight. I talk. So I don't know what it is, what it took me so long to get here. But unlike Petr Yan, I had to fight some real stiff competition. The toughest guy he fought, I think, was between myself and Jose Aldo.
Our next story comes from Paul Felder, who announced his retirement on the Cody versus Rob Font broadcast this past weekend. Speaking at the post-fight press conference, Paul Felder goes into detail why he made the decision to retire now. Here's what he said.
What's the feeling like right now? Is it like a load off, or does it feel weird? What's the emotion?
Yeah, I think there's that monkey's off my back a little bit. I really waited until I knew, you know, after the Hooker fight, it was kind of emotional, and I lost the fight. I'm far away from home. It was a struggle. But then I did find that fire again when I got the RDA fight, and I went back into camps. I was helping Sean Brady get ready for fights, and I was hitting pads, I was lifting again, I was doing all those things, and then just slowly over time, I just started drifting back towards doing my own thing and really just loving doing this triathlon stuff on my own, having time of seeing my daughter every day after school, dropping her off at school, training in my own little pain cave at home in the garage and getting stuff done. I don't think I'm gonna get to the belt. I think this is the first time where I finally really think, like, after those 2 losses in a row, watching guys like Jacare break their arm, watching guys like Cowboy fight 5 more fights past when I think they should, and I'm like, I'm not going to be that guy. I've said from the very beginning of this sport, I won't be that guy that fights past his expiration date, and I think it's here. And I think maybe it's a touch early, but I'd rather be a touch early than a touch late. I got a new contract I haven't even gotten to fight on yet. So that just shows you that this isn't an easy decision, and it's not one where, it's not like I wasn't getting the things I want. That's when you know it's time. If a brand new contract just handed to me by the UFC without even negotiating, after that RDA fight, they took my contract, which still had 3 more fights on it, and they threw it out and they said, here's your new one. And it was a good one. It's the one I've always wanted, or at least close to it. You know, obviously, if I keep winning fights, it'll get better. But who am I going to fight? Who am I going to fight right now? There's plenty of guys below me that are amazing. Islam Makhachev, Diego Fajeda, Gregor Gillespie. Yeah, they can probably beat me. I can probably beat them. I'm not excited about it. Tony Ferguson, 3-fight losing streak. Not excited about that. Don't want to do that. I don't want to do, you know, a week in the hospital, breaking my orbital, breaking my face, puncturing a lung, you know, more scars and cuts than I can even count. I don't want that anymore.
That about wraps up the video for today. Leave a like if you made it this far and if you learned something new. But either way, have a great day and peace.